Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Kelly Sparks, aka Red Beard. Have yet again, like I said, my friend Justin.
J-Mac.
J-Mac. J-Mac. I've never called you that in my life. Justin was nice enough to bring a bottle of Larceny, and he brought the 13-year-old. That just sounded awkward. The 13-year-old Old Fitz. And I have the 11 and the 9-year-old already from last year. So what we've already done, we have, without me looking at the bottom, we've got our samples here. We've already mixed them up. Roulette wheel, what do they call it? What's the shell game called? You know, I don't even know what it's called. I just say shell game.
Works for me.
Anyway, so we've already mixed them up, and we've already poured our samples in our glasses. So we're just going to go through it, and I'll post in the description what time the results start. So if you feel like you're impatient and you can't hang out and chill with us, you can skip ahead. So
they're all Fitzgerald lineage.
Yeah, so
Larceny's Fitzgerald, and obviously the Old Fitz.
So you were saying, and this is something we can do like while we're talking and nosing. So Old Fitzgerald, one thing we didn't get into in the last video is the weeded mash bill from Heaven Hill. Oh man, that smells so good. One thing I always do, if you feel like you need a cleanser for your nose palate, for your sense of smell, either smell your hand or smell your arm.
Go smell yourself.
Smell yourself. And it'll neutralize. It'll kind of put everything back to zero.
That one's noticeably different.
Noticeably, like this one. And I'm not like, I don't get near as much. So it's a bit.
It's a lot more of that, like that fig, like we were talking about, or leather or something. There's a lot more.
It's a little more muted. That one's even more. I don't get
it as much on that third one.
No. At least we have similar noses. So this is the weeded mash bill from Heaven Hill. And Old Fitzgerald. I think I know what that fourth one is. That fourth one, I don't even want to. I'm not going to speculate. And then what we can do, since Larceny, you said, is your regular go-to daily.
That's my go-to.
And then we've just done the tasting on that, so you might be able to pick 2 of them out of the 4. We'll see if we can.
I'm hoping we can pick kind of the bookends.
Yeah.
Which one is the most and which one is the least. That's out of whatever.
So from here, just start going through them. Do a sip here, do a sip there. So good. It's such a good bourbon. And then, if you need, cleanse the palate. What were you telling me about who's Fitzgerald? A little history lesson.
So Fitzgerald, I think it's John Fitzgerald.
Old John Fitz.
He wasn't a master distiller, wasn't anything like that.
He's a master thief.
He was a thief. Revenue agent, treasury agent, way back in the 1800s. Had a key to all the warehouses, rickhouses. He was the man who had the master key. And would sneak into these places and sample the goods. And if he found one he liked, he'd pick that out for himself.
That bastard.
Rat bastard.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand.
What are you going to do? He's got the key.
He was the revenue man, and that's all they do anyway.
So it kind of, that's where the Old Fitzgerald name came from. And then Larceny, because he was stealing the barrels of whiskey, kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I guess barrels of bourbon.
Same thing. I mean, well, it's not. It's still whiskey. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a hard decision. It's hard, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard.
Well, they're all so similar.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's really only the time that's different on them.
so one thing that we've done in the past, either on my channel or on the podcast, is we've taken whiskeys from the same mash bill and did a four-way head-to-head. We recently, if you go to beardedidiots.com and donate $1 a month, become a patron, you can actually listen to this episode. I'm not going to tell you the winner, but from Buffalo Trace. Are you a patron?
I am a patron.
He's a patron. He got to hear it. So not only did he offer to bring some whiskey, he's a patron of the Bearded Idiots podcast.
Your $3 a month can get you the same.
Mm-hmm. I think I know which
I
one.
thought from the noses I had them kind of picked out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
But what we did on the podcast, which Justin already knows, is we took Elmer T. Lee, Rock Hill Farms, Blanton Single Barrel, and Hancock's President's Reserve, which are all the same mash bill, but they're all aged in different parts of the warehouse, different proofs. Now these three are the same proof, but that one's not. But I think it's fun to see all of these juice started out the same. Like if this had ended up in this larceny bottle, it would have been in a bottle of Old Fitz.
Right.
Eventually. So.
Give it a few more years and it would have gotten there.
Yeah. You didn't quite grow up yet, buddy. Man.
I think I got it picked out.
I think I know that one.
Well, I take that back. I think I've got two of them picked out.
I think I know which one's which. I think I got my bookends. And
Dang it. I might be way off.
we could be. I mean, it's totally possible. Blind tastings are the ultimate litmus test. Or that's not right. It's not right. Litmus test?
I'll count it.
We'll count it. It's the ultimate litmus test. And it's how I started drinking Wild Turkey 101 again. Sat in on a blind tasting at the East Texas Bourbon Society, and 101, I picked it over everything else. And it was all Wild Turkey product. And I was like, oh, be damned. I picked the cheapest one of the bunch. I just got a cheap sense of cheap palate. Well, I think
I've got it.
My two favorites right now are 1 and 2. Glasses 1 and 2.
My two favorites were 2 and 4.
Yeah.
They smelled. The nose was the most similar on them. And then 1 and 3 was kind of the same.
I've just foregone my palate cleanser.
I'm just going for it.
Yeah, just go for it. Sometimes that's what I feel is that's the best way, because then you can see which one overpowers the next.
Right.
You don't have to worry about cleansing it each time.
And we talked about doing 2,
Mm-hmm.
a heads up and another heads up, and then the final. And I think I've got, if we had done that, I think I've got 2 picked out, and then the next 2 picked out.
I got you.
Like the youngest and oldest aging, I think.
I definitely, me personally, I like number 4 the least.
And there's not really a burn or anything. There's nothing that makes one go, wait,
No, it's not.
that one's out.
It's very, very faint. Mm-hmm. And then 1 and 2 are going to be
Those are your two favorites?
those are my two favorites right now.
We ready to call it? Almost.
Almost. This last sip should tell me. Yeah. I'm going to have to go literally how they're lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I'm picking mine as far as I like this one the most and I like this one the least. Did you have any ideas? Do you think you know which one's which? Because I think
I feel like the number 1 and number 2, because this is a 13, right?
Yeah.
I think number 1 was the Larceny.
Okay.
And number 2 was the 13.
All right.
Number 3, I think is the 9. And number 4 is the 11.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
It's based on nose more than anything, really.
So I thought number 1 was the 13. And I actually went like 13, 11, 9, Larceny. And only because, I only said that just because on 4, you remember whenever you first got here, and this is the only thing I'm going off of. When you first got here, and I took a sip of the Larceny to kind of cleanse my palate from that steak and boudin, I picked out, I get that same little, it's like a caramel covered peanut, and I got that one on this one. So that's the only thing I'm going off of. And then, I don't know, I could be way off. So, hold on. So what was your last place? Let's start with last place. And we'll see what that one was.
Last place?
Do you have a last place?
That's probably the 9. Which
Well, I mean,
surprises me.
in your glasses. In your glasses. Which glass? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Number 3.
Number 3. Let's go with number 3. All right. I picked it third. Number 3 is C. What did we say C was? That's the 9. That's the 9.
That's
year.
the 9.
Yeah. So actually,
That really surprises me because I like that one more than the 11.
so we
Our last
actually
taste.
picked correct.
We both picked that for number 3?
We both picked the 9 year as number 3.
All right. We're on the board.
All right. So we got something right.
So that was my least favorite.
Hey, 1 out of 4.
Okay.
And it was.
I mean, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible. It's just, it was weird because I remember at the tasting, the 11-year-old was liked so much better than 9. It was weird, the difference in the 2 years. And it could have been placement of the barrels and whatnot, but.
I liked the 9 better than the 11 at the tasting.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow.
I'm a little surprised.
That's why I love blind tastings. All right, so what was your next one? What was your third place?
Third place is, I'm going with number 1, the Larceny.
Number 1. Okay, so bottle number 1. And I picked that one first.
Okay.
Bottle number 1 is...
I've got that one pegged as the Larceny.
Okay, so that should be letter D
Should be D.
on the bottle. And it is... Ooh, we were both wrong. It's B.
Ooh.
So that was the 11-year-old. So,
Okay.
glass number 1...
That was the 11. I'm really surprised by that.
That was the 11-year-old. So I actually picked the 11-year-old over the rest of them. All right.
I really thought that was the Larceny. Okay.
All right, so glass number 1 was the 11.
My first place was number 2.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 is D. So
That's the Larceny.
yeah, so I picked that one right.
Okay.
4 was Larceny.
Which makes
which makes
the winner.
I think the
13.
overall winner was 13
Yeah.
because that was number 2, and
We both picked that one.
I had a hard. You picked that one as your number 1.
I did.
Yeah, so I had 11 and 13 backwards, and they were head to head. So,
But if any I would have gotten confused, I would have thought it would have been the larceny and the 9.
yeah. I mean, that's...
But it was the larceny and the 11. This one caught me off guard a little bit.
Your taste buds throw you off, man. I think that's what's so fun about them.
And I wasn't sure from the last tasting if the additional age was going to be, if it was going to make the quality any better.
See, I think, and this is just an opinion, I think once you start aging barrels, depending on where those barrels are at, whether they're kept cool and moderate temperatures or if they're kept hot, whereas you're going to get a lot more activity in those barrels. So if this one, let's say from the 9 to the 11, if the 9-year was kept in really hot areas and it had a lot of activity, it might have gave it a less favorable profile than the 11 if it had more moderate temperatures. And this 13, I mean, for them to let a barrel age or let barrels age for 13 years in Kentucky, they can't be burning up all the time. They have to be down low, inside, just so they can sit longer.
So we both agreed the nose from 1 to 2, which turned out to be the 11 to the 13,
This different.
was strikingly different.
Oh, yeah. So one was the 11. Yeah.
And after I went through the tasting and came back to number 1, I picked up a lot more on the nose than I did the first time. How about that?
Man, hey, there's no losers here.
No. They're all good. And yeah, going back now, after knowing number 3 was the larceny, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I smell it now.
I'm gonna take a slight sniff. I'm gonna take a sniff of this A. What? Hush. Come on up here. Come on up here. Say hi to everybody. Yeah,
The nose is a lot heavier with the 13.
yeah. I should have picked up on that, but I didn't.
And heavy's not in a bad way. There's
No,
just a lot more there. You can smell a lot more.
It's so good.
A lot more of that kind of that dark dried fruit like we mentioned.
Where's B? Oh, no, Bonnie. Nope, stop it. I want to taste these two again.
The 13 and the 11.
Yeah, so it's B. Yeah. Yeah, it has a...
So did we both go 2 for 4 on that one?
Yeah, we both went 2 for 4.
Okay.
Because I got larceny correct, and I got these two backwards. So I got the 9-year and the larceny correct.
Okay. I had the 13 and the 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got the 11 and the
I have
larceny.
the 11 and the larceny backwards.
Yeah. Man, that's... Woo hard. They're still so freaking good.
They're really similar.
So your number 1 pick was the 13?
The whole Fitz 13.
Yeah, the number 2. The second glass, mine was the 11.
My second was the larceny.
So mine, yeah.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
And the 9-year came in 4th.
Yeah.
That says a lot for the daily drinker larceny too, though.
That's pretty damn tasty.
I mean, compared to the premium you pay for the old Fitz.
For 13 years in a barrel versus probably 6 or 7. Half the amount of time. So, but man, yeah, that was good. So Justin picked 13 year and I picked the 11 as our winners. Either way, if you can get your hands on a bottle of Old Fitz bottled in bond, Spend the money. Spend the money. Well, if you can get it retail, spend the money.
Oh, no doubt.
If you
Because it wasn't cheap retail.
no, it's 120 plus. If somebody's trying to price gouge you, say no to price gouging. So, I mean, Justin or Justin or myself, we could have not opened these bottles and turned them around, sold them on the internet, and gouged somebody $50-$60 or more, and contributed to the delinquency of our society. But we chose not to. We chose to share it with our friends and family, and yeah. So
The straight and narrow.
yeah, the straight and narrow. Part-time criminals. But that's another shirt idea. Gene, you know Gene, don't you? Gene Barron?
No.
You don't know Gene?
Mm.
Mean Gene? Well, Mean Gene, he hadn't been on the show in a while. He also went to Spring Hill with us, but he was 2 years older than me.
Okay.
Former roommate of mine. Well, for a while there, Gene was a regular guest on the channel, and people out there in YouTube land were like, man, he has this hardened criminal vibe to him. It's like, man, he's done some stuff, seen some things. So, like, I want to get a shirt made with just kind of like a black and white, maybe a black and white picture of me and Gene and myself, and just put at the bottom, just like part-time criminals.
Part-time.
Part-time. But I think that's all we got on this one. I don't want to keep dragging it out. We could sit here and bullshit forever. I mean, we got plenty of whiskey. So.
Good whiskey.
Yeah, good damn whiskey. So yeah, don't forget to check out the Tattered Beans. Check out the description below. We got all the links down there. Order some coffee from me. I'd appreciate it. You just help contribute to my delinquency. Check out the Bearded Idiots. We're kind of funny from time to time. Be a patron. Support.
Sign up. Be a patron.
Yeah. Participate, motherfucker. As Curtis likes to say. Yeah, I think that's it. So, thanks for coming by, Justin. Appreciate it, buddy.
Glad to.
Yeah,
Glad to share.
We'll have to do this one again. And, yeah, like always, folks, drink some whiskey, share it with your friends and family, and have a nice day. Y'all take care.